It is chilly out there, boys and girls. Happy Monday. Good to see you. Welcome back to High Top Sports. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe. Of course, show is brought to you by BetUS. Got a great show in store for you today. As of course, the 2006 national champion, the man himself, Stephen Harris, will be joining the show. And I got to tell you, the guy's going to be bringing in his flowers, okay? Because he comes on Friday, kind of lays the land, puts it out there for everybody. And here we go. We're 48 hours into this, and now there is rumors. Look, it's rumors. We're not breaking any news here, but a particular coach, we won't name names, called Bill Ferris, that was going to Miami, may not no longer be going to Miami. It's surfacing, and I'm not one to usually kind of run off rumors, but when it's like this, I'm all in. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get after it a little bit here today. Talk about the new addition in the DB room. Read a cool quote from my guy Keith Nabier that really encompasses what we were talking about. If you haven't seen that show with Mr. Harris and I, he worked overtime, okay? So go give him some love on that one, clock in on that, because it was a phenomenal show. Without further ado, enough of me gibbering and jabbering. Good to see you, boys. Let's talk about Stephen Harris, boys. How we run the ball, baby? How you doing?
Run the ball, baby. You know what it is. Shout out the ball, man. I appreciate you, kid. Loved everything you did last season for us. Looking for more, baby.
That's the man right there, man. Well, good to see you, Mr. Stephen Harris. We spoke on Friday. I don't know if you remember. It feels like it was so long ago. You've been in war since then. But look, man, what I'd love to see is, because I said it on Saturday. I go, look, what I would really love to see is for us to go out and get a DB coach like that. Because in our conversation on Friday, if you didn't see it, shame on you. But you spoke about how Ron Roberts, based on your sources, not to be named, spoke about what Ron Roberts' expectation is, and that is to have a safety and cornerback coach separated, right? And we talked that, well, when he was brought on, look, to his point, and we talked about this because Ron was not on the staff when Will was brought on. Austin Armstrong was in charge. So when Will was brought on, he was signed and paid as a safety / cornerback / all-around secondary coach. And that was what he was brought on to do. Definitely misunderstanding, and we get the frustration, and you even said, look, if I'm going to pick and choose one guy, I'm going to pick Ron Roberts here. So, but when Ron Roberts comes on, initially wasn't supposed to be the guy, then of course we know week 3, kind of like, all right, this is my train now. I'm driving the thing. It's I'm conducting the ship here. Too many different modes of transportation, but you get what I'm putting down. And ultimately says, hey, Harris, you're over to DBs. I don't run the ship like this. I like this to be separated, which you talked about on Friday. On Saturday, I go, look, man, I think it'll really hit home if we go and get a DB coach, because with it being not late, but it was kind of a weird part of the year because we see Billy doesn't really move very quickly, knocks one out, which also I talked about this in this morning's show, leads me to believe that this thing was already kind of set in motion. Billy had this guy picked well before Thursday, if I had to guess. Thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree. I think, when the early smoke went off where they were saying he possibly was interviewing with Texas, there's maybe like a week or two before this thing actually went off. So whenever you get that situation, plus internally, everybody kind of knows how he felt. He wanted that position. They did have that little. Can you hear me?
They're saying audio issues. I don't know if it's me or you. Could be me because I keep turning. Might be me. Am I good now? It says audio is tweaking.
Are we good? We good? It said voice fading in and out.
Yeah, I don't know who it is, though.
Go back in.
Everything fine. Hop out and come back in. Sometimes this happens, and because some people are saying it's not having an issue. It could be just you like on your end. I know that sounds weird, but it could be just the fact. It could just be your. I'm going into mine now.
Yeah, we'll check it.
Go ahead. You can keep talking. I suck anyway, so.
Well, they keep saying sound not working right. I want to make sure they all right. It says both of us. Can anybody in the chat go out and go back in and then let me know if it's still not working right? Jarvis Barber, one of you guys, before we keep going.
Yeah, exit out and go back in, because I'm in it right now. It sounds fine.
Okay.
Dylan says it adds more suspense when we can't hear half the things you guys are saying. Got you on the edge of your seat.
Okay, audio's fine. Audio.
Yeah,
Anybody
look.
else give us a thumbs up, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Let us know. Audio is fine, champ. That shirt needs to go though.
Yeah,
Negative. What are
he's
you
a ball
talking about?
hater. He's a
What
ball
are you
hater.
talking about?
Yeah, it's better now. Okay, cool.
Negative.
Yeah, sometimes
Okay,
YouTube does
cool.
that
But
to
yeah,
me. I can usually
sometimes, yeah.
on my end, I check my audio stuff. I watch it live, and it's playing back in my ear. So
Mm-hmm.
Jarvis, leave and come
Cool.
back in, man. All right, so what back to what you were saying.
But
We
yeah,
always
I was
have these.
saying once we kind of heard the little rumor about maybe a Texas interview and stuff like that, and then given the little disagreement they had between the coaches as far as what roles he was supposed to do, I'm sure Florida immediately, started looking up their contacts and trying to see who they can get as a replacement. You know what I mean? Obviously, he was standing firm on what they brought him in, and nobody wants to take a pay cut for sure. And so I'm sure Florida was already looking, and so the fact that they made this hire that fast means two things: one, that they were already ready to move, and two, that the hire is a quality hire, and people who know football, the people who play the position, had nothing but great things to say about the guy we got. So it made it probably a faster transition for us, which is great.
We'll talk about the our new guy in just a minute. I'm trying to look at my text with Soder because he texted me, man, I want to say a while ago. And if you go remember the post, Will Harris made a post back in January, posting the entire team. And somebody retweeted it and was like, thanks for all that you do, coach. And then people were kind of building off that. And that was when I first heard the news back in January that he was more than likely gone due to just disagreements with how things were moving. And then it kind of went away and things seemed to be okay. And then ultimately here we are. Yeah. Kind of confirming what you were saying is that this seems to be in the work. And look, it doesn't seem maybe as ugly as a breakup as it appears, given the fact the noise that we're hearing now, that it looks like the Saints job might be in play for him to head there, which, look, that's where he came from. Maybe that's where that fits his mold. I know he recruited well. You got to take that into factor. Another thing to note is Jalen Waters announced an official visit I saw today for May 30th. This is just after decommitting from us and being crystal ball to Miami. You got to wonder if those things are correlated as well.
Yeah, I want to say one thing. I love Coach Will Harris. I love everything that he brought to the Gators. And sometimes it's business. The situations don't work out how you thought they were. You're trying to advance your career. You know what I mean? You want to be able to the position he wanted to coach. He wanted to have that reign and coach all the guys. You know what I mean? And it's just not the defense that we're running and how we're running. It doesn't allow for that. And so I have no problem with him moving on and doing what he needs to do for him and his career. And he's a valuable coach. You know what I mean? We got him from the NFL. So for other people to want him, he only came in and proved that his value was great. You know what I mean? And so for him to go on and move on, I'm okay with that. And like you said, you're hearing that he might not be going to Miami. I always, in my heart, I felt like that move, if he wasn't going there to be the full DB coach like he wanted to be, that move was not necessarily the greatest move. I'm not sure what opportunities they were going to present him with or what they may have promised or whatever. But if he's going to the NFL, he's valuable. He's valuable, and it wouldn't surprise me. I didn't think he would be at that position at Miami for long anyway.
So what's interesting is the reason kind of where the smoke started is, of course, the insiders start kind of dropping little hints, and then all Miami things were wiped off of his social media is what people were noticing. If you also take a look, there hasn't really been an announcement. You know how kind of Napier and the Florida teams, like when things happen, they'll post the sunglasses or they'll post like welcome coach. None of that has been posted from Miami or Cristobal. These were all kind of beat writers that were posting this news and announcing this. Look, we can't confirm that he is no longer the DB coach of Florida, but that has definitely been announced and reconfirmed on that end. So very interesting to see how it all shake up. The reason why I also like him, one, it's fun to see Miami get trolled. Love that. Number two, there was obviously, concerns and fear that we could lose some recruits to Miami because of this. And now, could we still lose recruits? I mean, that's you always have to factor that in. But and you could always lose them to Miami. But the reason they were to leave, you would think, would be because of Will Harris. So that's also a
One
good thing for us, which I like.
one thing I could tell you, Will Harris loved the program, and he loved all the guys that's there. He wants to see the players that he was around succeed, and he's not out trying to gut Florida and take. He really loves what we had there, and he just realized that it's business. And he wants those young guys to have stability too. At the same time, of course, we had some kinks in the defense, and we got it right. And now that it's on the right ship, we shouldn't be recycling through cornerback coaches for these young guys left and right. So we need stability at that position going forward. And I believe that's what he believes in his heart as well.
I talked about it this morning, dropped a show. I was up late last night watching my heart be broken with NASCAR. I'm sure you were watching as well, Stephen Harris, big NASCAR fan. But
of course.
We've got Mr. Daron Wilson that has now joined the staff again very quickly after the departure of Will Harris, which, like we said, leads me to believe that this was well into motion, well before the news the news on Thursday dropped, and everyone's kind of reacting. We got a full 24 hours of this news being digested, people doing their research. I've been seeing a lot more positivity coming out from just look. When I say positivity, who this is coming from? It's guys that I follow on Twitter. Like Silk and Brandon Olson and other Gator content creators, Dave Waters, to kind of get a true pulse of these are multiple opinions and guys that follow the game and speak with people and have thoughts and opinions. And I kind of do my due diligence as well. And kind of we all come together and I think everyone formulates their own opinion. And sometimes everyone's kind of on the opposite side and you kind of get a pulse of what everyone's going to say and feel. But there seems to be a nice optimistic feel of Mr. Wilson joining the staff. I want to get your thoughts and opinions and then pull a quick little quote from Keith Nabier's article of something that was said, which kind of goes back to what you and I were talking about on Thursday, or Friday. But I'll let you rock with what you're hearing.
Yeah, I like the hire. I can't say I love it. I normally like to say I love it. I love it, but I like the hire. Simply because I'm hearing from other cornerbacks that played the game, people that know his coaching style, and hearing from them, and they're speaking highly of him. I was in the space when Cromartie, the team out west guy, came in. If y'all don't know the team out west, that's FS Pooh. But he was in the space and he was speaking highly about the coach, and that to me spoke volumes. He spoke about the way he can translate to the players that we have, and how he knows how to teach the game from a mental standpoint, as far as connecting with the players from different backgrounds. So to me, that spoke volume. And Crow actually said that he wouldn't mind. But not that he wouldn't mind, that he would love to be a part of the Gator staff. So that was big to hear. I always felt like he, had that Gator in him from the start. But to hear that and to see some of the clips I saw about him and how he teaches the game, I feel like he definitely can come in and do the job. But beyond that, how he's going to relate to the players and get the best out of them. I heard he's very aggressive as a coach, and I like that.
What is the quote that I liked, given what's happened over the last with the hires, with the two co-DCs being hired, of course, Ron Roberts. We've heard his personality, what he embodies as a DC, very bossy and in control. Wait, look, all good. I mean, you look at that how you want, but we've heard those things. The quote about Daron Wilson was, why people are excited, why he think he'll hit the ground running is because his ability to adapt to the team. Is a team guy first, more of an Indian-like personality versus the chief mindset, which is exactly what we're hearing was needed, given how the entire relationship with Will Harris. And look, I think Chiefs are great. You kind of want that. And I think when Will Harris was brought in, we needed a chief mentality back in that secondary. It definitely lacked an identity. But with the coaches that were brought in, you can't have too many of them either at the same time. So I like seeing this happen in this kind of that type of coach coming in, given who we all just hired.
You know what really stands out to me though, a lot, the fact that he was going to be a defensive coordinator. We keep having all these co-DC titles and stuff out there. The man was going to run the show. So that means he's familiar with where everybody needs to be on the field.
Big
And that's
picture stuff.
very, very, very valuable when now you bringing him in to only coach the corners, but he's familiar with where everyone needs to be, so he can help relate that to them. Um, like I was listening to some of his schemes. He was like, when you have the 3-man, what type of routes they're going to be trying to run. When they're even, what type of routes they're going to be trying to run. So he's a guy that can translate that to these guys and help elevate their IQ per se, football IQ, which is great. You got a guy that was going to be a decent defensive coordinator that got picked to do that from a cornerbacks coach. So that means the man is smart. He knows where you need to be on defenses, so that way he can plug and play. And I love that part about it.
What I like about it too is I remember when we stole Austin Armstrong from Alabama. He was leaving the Southern Miss as the DC to go be the linebacker coach for Alabama, right? So stay with me here. The point is he was taking a demotion in the sense of title, but wanted the ability to go play at a bigger coach at a bigger school. So took a little bit of a down step to take it ultimately a bigger step forward, right? And when we took him, it was an upgrade because he was going to go be a DC to a linebacker, and then we took him to be a DC at a Power 5 school. That was a massive move for him, and probably definitely a little bit too quick, a little too early. These guys are similar to what Bama was doing with Austin Armstrong. You got a guy that's being successful that, they're making a strong move, making a strong hire, and an opportunity for them to come and play in these, both being Coach Vinny and him. Both were going to go move on to higher roles. Title-wise, maybe not the same size school, but making a progress in the right direction. And we took them, not necessarily take a step back. It's still a jump, but a different kind of jump. So I like the guys that are coming in and what they were going to be moving for anyways.
Yeah, for sure. It is a big jump, especially exposure-wise. Anybody who's looking at that defensive back position can look at what Will Harris and what he was able to do in the name he was able to make for himself. You come in and you make an impact immediately at Florida, you're going to be on the radar for a lot of people. You come in and you move that needle 10, 15, 20%, you're going to be on the radar for a lot of people. And his knowledge of the game, and then you come and you get the athletes that we have, this would probably be the best group of athletes he's ever coached. And so for him to do that and their knowledge, and for him to pair that with them, I'm expecting our guys to make big leaps, and coaching will be easier for him at this level to me.
Absolutely, man. Really, really excited about it. Again, the biggest thing for me is, look, when the news happened on Thursday, I remember just seeing it and going, it sucked because it was a gut punch, and you feel like we got momentum, and you kind of just hate it. It feels like, again, like these things you're trying to fix and move forward, and then you get a hole, once again. And again, I keep going back to this, but given the fact of how quickly this happened, this was well discussed, well versed, and well understood what was happening. And now we're hearing that Will Harris could possibly be going to the NFL. It really feels like it probably wasn't as ugly as what it was portrayed to be, right, originally. And we talked about it on Friday. Look, was there definitely a disagreement of how things are being ran? Yeah, that's business. That's definitely, look, it's not as personal now. Like, if he does go to the NFL, like, hey, nothing but love, man. That's all good.
He understands that full well what the Miami job entails and how the Gator fans would react. He said it in his post, though some of y'all might not like me no more. He knows. So it's football. He's a big man. The Gator Nation is crazy, but yeah, go to the league, man. Don't go to the U.
And look, I think what you're jumping into when you come coach for Miami or come coach for Florida. Obviously, coach and at Miami. And look, when we had Tyreek Sapp on the show, that was something that he said why he came to Florida was because when you're winning, you are the man. You are an icon, and when you're losing,
nothing better, baby. Nothing better.
But when you're losing, that's the cost of it, right? So you understand that, and you also understand, like you said, that if you're able to come at a school like Florida and compete, what it does for you. And we're about to talk about that. We talked about it a few weeks ago, and people try to give us crap about it, and here we are. The SEC and the Big Ten looking like they're just taking charge, and this kind of backs up what I'm saying, that just the brand behind Florida and SEC is massive, and it feels like it's going to get even bigger, and they're operating as if they've got the biggest hoo-ha in the room right now. It's nuts to watch.
Yeah, no, I mean, we are the biggest brands. I mean, what there's not no way to hide that. It is what it is. And, Florida, just in and everything in recruiting, I just feel like we have a lot to offer, and we've been doing a great job getting ahead of the curve as far as getting our front office together. With the new rev share thing coming up, Florida Victorious is going to play a big part, and our alumni Rolodex is going to be a tremendous part of that. And then being in Florida, so yeah, SEC, man, everybody knows. There's no secret.
It is definitely on top. And again, like I mentioned as well, Jalen Waters is one to watch. 2026 DB, who we talked about, I think on Saturday as well. Good.
No, I was gonna say I just like the fact that we were able to go ahead and, I'm sure you're gonna say it, get that official visit set up shortly right after that with the new coach coming in. Like, hey, no, you know what? I'm the new coach, the new sheriff in town. I'm finna go
Let's at
out and
least talk.
survey the land and round them all up. Yeah.
Look, it's been kind of fun to watch. I mean, they're obviously like how he's handled it on social media. He kind of laughed when like he tweeted, and again, he could have been tweeting anything, but we know what it was. And look, that's just kind of the name of the game. It's personal. And even Cromartie, he was talking about the recruiting part where it's all personal and all relationship building. So look, if he created a relationship with Will Harris and he sees him go somewhere, that's where it's going to be. So again, he got crystal balled. This is all kind of a very like a timeline. Decommits, gets crystal balled because of this Will Harris news. Now there's this smoke possibly going to the NFL, and the news for Waters setting up an official visit to Florida. And the person who tweeted, I can't remember who it was, at Gatorville, I think it was on Twitter, also tagged at Coach Wilson. So basically kind of implying that, hey, this is my swing at this. Let's try this thing again. So I like it. Again, Seatbelt Waters is somebody that has hit the ground running, and it's been turning a lot of heads this season and is projected to be a 5-star by the end of it. So a lot of talent there, and will be something I think we probably watch for the long haul for sure.
Yeah, definitely, and will turn more heads. I'm expecting the kid. I love the kid. I love his game. You know what I mean? I know where he's from. I know his background. I want to see nothing but the sky for this guy, and he's capable of doing it. So I would love to see him do it with the Gators too, man. So let's keep our fingers crossed and just keep working.
I'm excited. If you guys are still having audio issues, just hop out and hop back in. It's not on. It's just YouTube. I think tonight is giving us a fit. So yeah. Figure that out. If just rock and roll and get out and come back in, and we'll keep on rolling. Smash the like button, though, boys and girls. Got 250 strong on this beautiful Monday afternoon. Be sure to smash the like button and subscribe and show some love. Let's get into the last little bit here, which, again, this is kind of interesting news. Oh, I didn't pull over the graphic. Give me 1 second here, boss, so I can pull over our when we talk about the SEC and the Big Ten. Again, this was something we talked about a few weeks ago, but the stipulation was it wouldn't happen because the contract runs through 2026, so there wouldn't be anything big happening or changes to the college football playoffs until 2026. But it looks like it could be happening sooner because basically the SEC and the Big Ten walked in and said, hey, we're not liking the way the playoffs are being ran. And essentially it was because of how the seedings went and how they felt that, hey, there wasn't enough SEC and Big Ten teams, which we all kind of felt the same way. And we're kind of looking around of like, hey, the SEC kind of we beat ourselves up and probably hurt ourselves a little bit. I kind of wanted to look at this multiple ways because how this kind of has unfolded is that the SEC and Big Ten come together and say, hey, if you don't work with us, we're going to go on our own. And I've talked about this as well as they could, and they would function just fine. They would function just fine. I think they cover enough of the country. They have enough coverage of teams to where that it would work. I think there's some big teams elsewhere, and I like what it is now, and I don't want to lose those other teams. And I think selfishly, it kind of feels cool because we're the cool kids at the table, and it's like, yeah, we could go do that, but you got to kind of like have a part of like, that's fine and dandy, and I kind of like that our leaders, I guess, of the conferences are kind of flexing their muscles a little bit. But I hope we can come together and have a little bit of a kumbaya to keep this thing flowing. But now what it's looking like is a potential 14 to 16 team playoff. I mean, it seems crazy because like I don't think we feel like we digested 12 yet. So that's, I feel like it's never ending. But what are your thoughts on that? And I'll go more into it.
It's crazy. Definitely can run our own league or whatever, but we do need to allow for other people to be in. It's always like that Cinderella story. You never know the underdog team that make the run, but with the way it's shaping up, man, it's gonna be hard to say what's a good season. Like making it to the playoffs is gonna be, if you were a top 4 team in the SEC, well, hell, damn near the top 8 teams are possibly gonna be in the playoffs. So that's gonna be a little weird just to know that you're gonna almost be guaranteed to be in the playoffs every year. Um, then does that make the SEC championship matter less, or you know what I mean? I guess not. Winning the SEC is always a big deal, but then some years it almost seems like whoever wins the SEC is the champion. um, but, I like it. Just the fact that you get more teams and you never know how that's going to roll out. When you have more teams in there, we could have possibly had a chance with our record and the strength of schedule last year to get in if this was a given. And the way we finished off the year, we probably would have knocked some teams out. And had a couple more weeks to get everybody healthy. So that would have been a plus, and we could have went on a great run.
The pitch right now is that SEC and the Big Ten would have 4 guaranteed spots each, guaranteed, of
So,
SEC
yes.
and Big Ten. So then you'd have, that's 8 spots, right? So if it's 16, that's 50% going to 2 conferences, which again, Kerry, I would say arguably the most talented teams overall. So that makes sense. And then I think the ACC and Big 12 would get 2 teams each. Then you get a bit at large, and then Notre Dame, of course, would be kind of part of that as well. So they would figure that thing out. But what makes it even sexier is because, again, the whole thing is surrounded by money, and how can you make more money is if it were to go to a 14-team playoff, the 1 and 2 seed would be the only 2 teams that get buys, which is kind of cool. So then you get an extra game in that first round, which would it be at home still? I don't know. But it would be the winner of the conference champions of the SEC and the Big Ten. That would be your 1 and 2 seed. So kind of just asserting dominance that just because you win the ACC or the Big 12, you don't get a guaranteed spot,
Yeah.
which would put so much more value now. Because again, there was that argument this year, like where's the value of winning your championship? Like,
Right.
think about it. Clemson won theirs, but they're the 12th seed coming into this thing. Of course, it was given to 4 spots, but how it all worked out, you didn't have to kill yourself to get to that game because you could have sacrificed losing. A lot of different things here. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all rolls out. If it does go to 16 teams, then nobody gets a bye. So that would be interesting as well, because then where is the value in your conference championship? So it's kind of unraveling here, but there is, on the article that I was reading, it said that the SEC and the Big Ten will take control over in 2026 of the basically the college football landscape. So I think they're trying to get ahead of it now. I think they want the control now for this year. And there's also a possibility we could go to 9 games conference schedule this year as well too. I would be shocked. I think they meet either this week or next week to kind of confirm some things. I would be shocked if anything happens this year. And again, the other part that I was kind of reading is that the conversation for this to kind of work out is the SEC and Big Ten would play each other in outer conference games, because it's all about the moolah, baby. It's all about the moolah.
That would be.
And this is what I've argued. Look, in a weird way, here's the thing, guys. Take a step back for a minute. We kind of throw a lot of tomatoes at Florida and how they're operating and how they're functioning. What Florida did this year and this coming year with the strength of their schedule. And I said this, it's great football. I mean, we shut out for every game, because why wouldn't you want to go to see every single game? And obviously, I think it definitely helped that we had that run at the end there. But there wasn't a game that was not much must-watch TV for Florida football. I mean, the amount of revenue that they generated was insane. And it wasn't one of our best seasons of all time. It was just because we're playing top-tier teams every single week. Like, as a football fan, how could you not eat that up? That's what the NFL is exciting, because the product each week is not but you know what I mean? It's supposed to be really, really good. So you go to 9 conference games, every game's going to have juice. Every game is going to be have some sex appeal to it. And look, I don't mind it as long as everyone else is doing it. I just feel like if it feels like right now we're the only ones playing 9 conference games.
You got to bring the value to the SEC championship game. I think you do it like they do in the NFL. You got to pay bonuses. You got to pay bonuses for winning. The players are getting paid now. You win that SEC championship, man, you got to get something.
That's so I look and I think, well, the point of it, they don't want to lose the value in that game, right? And I guess what you're pointing to is like, hey, pay the players to make the game valuable. But at the same time, if you're a coach and this game doesn't carry much value, that's where you go, hey, as a coach, should we even try? That's where I think that,
Everybody,
well,
the school coaches, players, everybody get a bonus for winning.
and I think you get a reward for winning that too, not just the cash prize, right? Because bonus is great, but you don't want to, like, what if you get a guy hurt going into the playoffs for just an extra dollar? I think that's where the factor is. Like, what's the
Yeah,
value of winning this game? Because the
for
big
sure.
picture is to win the whole thing, right? And so you don't
Bragging
want to
rights,
lose.
SEC.
It doesn't carry the weight no more, man. Isn't that, like, think about that though? Like, that's how it used to be. That's what it used to look. Sports are changing, man. I think it's everything. I was thinking about it this weekend. Like this weekend, we had the USA and Canada, which was incredible to watch. I don't know if you saw
Yeah,
that, which was overbearing. I mean, the dunk contest was on. I don't think anybody even knew because USA
yeah.
Canada, which was an exhibition game, just carried the internet. Then on
That
Sunday,
boy came out the fading.
nobody watches NASCAR but myself and like three people. But us three, we all enjoyed it. And if they obviously have struggled with just themselves marketing, but I feel like just in golf, like a lot of these sports have just lost a lot of the sexiness that they've
Yeah,
encompassed as the years. I don't know if I'm just getting older. I don't know exactly what it is. You can't really put a feeling on it. I was talking to my buddy about it today. There isn't something like one particular thing of why it's not working anymore. I don't know if we're just over consuming. I think a lot of it, especially the NBA, is that like what you just said, the will to win just for bragging rights. Like nobody cares about winning just simply to dominate somebody. It's all about that paycheck. And once that paycheck is signed, like I'm good. Like I've made it. But
yeah,
what I loved about AJ Brown after winning the Super Bowl, did you see his post?
yeah. Mhm.
How he said like it wasn't what I thought it would be. It wasn't as cool as I thought what winning was. He's like I was more in love with the grind and talking smack and making a DB feel this big. He's like that I love more than winning. Like that's what I feel like that's what we've lacked. We don't have enough dogs and killers as we once did in these sports. But I could be wrong. That's just my feelings. And maybe I'm old.
Nah, you're not old. I mean, we see where it's going. People are getting paid to play. People are leaving for whatever the reason is. So that grit and camaraderie is not as great as it once was. But I don't know. Maybe it can come back. I feel like there are still those players that are out there, and we have a couple of them, well, a ton of them on our roster, which is great. You can tell by the way we finished off the year. So I mean, we just got to keep translating that over, and we got to do a better job as parents and leaders with our kids, and just instilling values in them outside of money. So
Absolutely. And again, I saw a quote from Sanders where he said, look, like the parents are more involved than ever, which a recruit we were just talking about, we've seen that kind of unfold on Twitter as well, with just parents getting involved more than ever and wanting theirs off the top. And I think that's always been a factor, though. I mean, maybe you can speak to this more. I mean, you played back in, it's been a while, but
no, it wasn't a factor like that.
no,
Certain parents, if you came from the tree of athletes and your parents already kind of knew and they were athletes, then yeah, they were a little more involved. But most of us growing up, we just wanted to play, man. We just wanted to play. Most of us, it was just an outlet for us. A coach found us in the hallway, said, "Hey, man, you tall, man, come out here and play." But you grew up playing with playing with kids in your neighborhood all day. Nowadays, these kids, if they're not at training facilities in the
mm,
regular neighborhood, they're not outside playing at the park. They're not outside doing all these other things. So the guys that are in it now, parents are setting them up saying, "Hey, you going to make this money." Hey, they give them NIL deals. So they're already invested. These kids are now becoming
projects.
stocks for them. Stocks
Yeah.
for them. Like, hey, in 10 years, I can make $1 million. So why not invest it? So it's not no longer just go outside and play. And then this guy's great and somebody discovers him and he already has these other attributes that are great and he becomes a great player. Kids are being manufactured now to play this game, which I don't like. You get great athletes on some end, but then you get divas and entitlement at the same time, which sucks. And
Losing the
that's why the
character of it.
game, yeah,
Yeah.
you're breaking records, but losing the feel of the game. You know what I mean?
You're spitting bars right now. I think you're spot on there. I think a good point to that is, yeah, you're right. Like before, I mean, there was kids being like getting bags back when you played, but maybe it was like one or three guys, and you kind of heard about it. And you're like, that's crazy. And like one kid's driving around a Charger. Now it's become the norm, and it's like, hey, I like, okay, Charger's cool, but I also want this, this, and this. And I think you nailed it on the head. Is that they're being manufactured at a younger age, because now as a parent you realize, okay, it's not just the NFL where I can get money. The money's much sooner and much closer and much more attainable if we just do X, Y, and Z. And so, I think you're getting all the talent and all the shininess and all the fast speed, which is, and we don't appreciate it, because before, when we would get that, it was rare, one, and two, the person that usually encompassed that was a little, I always said, they're off a tick. Kobe, Michael, Tiger, Michael Phelps. They're a little, they're off a tick. They got, like, if you sit down with them, like, there's just like a weird, like, twitch in their eye, like they might kill somebody. Sure. It's like it was either become a professional athlete or Ted Bundy. Like that was the line. You know what I mean?
So why, right? Yeah.
And now it's not that anymore. It's just everyone's got a little tick, but nobody had. I think just like you said, the appreciation of it or the understanding of it has definitely changed, and because of technology too. Good conversation. John Lee gifted 5 High Top Sports membership. Man, thank you, John Lee.
Ooh, all right, John.
They're fighting about it. Who gets the memberships? That's still calling it rigged, as always. I don't pick them. I don't know who picks them, boys. Couple of super chats.
I don't even
Tyler,
know how it goes.
Me either. Bohannon. Go Gators. Thank you, Tyler, for the $2, man. Absolutely. Always go Gators. Danny the Gamer. $2 says go Blaney number 12. Absolutely. Go Blaney. My son had a go Blaney on yesterday. That's my guys. Go Blaney. Kyle Busch. Look at so mini helmet I got from the 500. This thing is lit, bro. It's kind of my new addiction. It's more than
what is that?
It's a race car helmet, dude. Look at this thing.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's dope.
That's lit, right?
I can tell by the color. Yeah, that's fire. What's that, wood?
Yeah, it's like it's a bourbon. It's one of the sponsorships, but it's clean, bro. It's like it's like a mini Gator helmet, but like I'm more in fact like helmets are cool. Dope. These helmets are kind of cooler. You don't see them as much, I guess.
I saw Junior out there too, having a great time, man. That was dope.
That was really cool. Rookie says $20. Florida men's basketball number 2. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that at 2, man. And Rookie Lynn's always showing love, man. Thank you so much for the $20. We were talking on Saturday about having sponsorships, and Rookie's one of our sponsors. He's like our we're gonna put powered by Rookie.
Shout out to Rookie.
Just give him a whole episode. Just give him a whole episode. Yeah, Gators basketball ranked number 2 now after Bama went down, right, to Auburn. Is that right?
Thanks. Yeah, I know we're number 2. I don't know what took place, but I know we were right there.
Yeah, they played each other, which I assume that's what would happen when one of them would drop. So, look, man, I'm loving this team, and they're grinding. We got the big game that I'm looking forward to now is how the last 3 games of the year are going to be massive games heading into that SEC tournament. And right now, I believe the projection was we have the 4th seed in the SEC tournament, so we have like 2 byes. We want to play 3 games, so huge there. I like the fact that we get. I mean, playing those extra games aren't necessary. We get to play 3 monster games right before the tournament. I love, and then of course, if we're a 1 or 2 seed going into that tournament, which is massive, being able to play a 15 seed, and I want to say a 7 or a 10 seed after that. So
yeah. And we spoke about this run that they're on right now and the matchups that they had coming up and how it would test them. And they're faring out pretty well. We got our center back, which is massive. I know I was online when the game first started, and the guys were blasting us like, "You guys, the expectations are so high, you guys can't let the game get to rolling." But we ended up blowing the guys out, which was a great victory.
Yeah, dude, the fan base is just as nuts because of basketball.
I thought it was just football. Negative.
Listen, I'm glad. Hey, they're consistent. All right, so that's important to know. Rookie says, "Show my uncle was involved with the fight between Cale Yarbo and Davey Allison. That was an iconic fight. If you watch NASCAR, you've seen it. The fight at Daytona Speedway when it was first televised. That fight it's shown time and time again. 16 months of membership." No shout out, but money always talks. JK, I got y'all's back on Gators. Hi, Tom. What's up, Levi?
Shout out to Levi.
Did I miss your? Did you have something else, Levi? My bad. Shout out to Levi, man. Thank you for your love and support as always, Bubba. I miss your chat. I'm sorry. Well, boys and girls, fantastic Monday show as always. Talking a lot of great things.
Nope. We're not getting out of here. I know you don't do the beef, but Matt McChesney.
Oh. I was like, what are we talking about? Oh,
yeah, Matt McChesney.
Here, hold on.
If you ever see this,
hold on. Start over.
You giving me the floor. get these glasses off real quick. Sir Matt McChesney, whatever your little podcast name is out there in Colorado. I saw your comments about my guy Jarvis Moss, man. Listen, watch him out talking about my Gators. If you're going to talk about him, talk about all his accomplishments and his accolades and how he did it as a clean athlete. I know you said you was an undrafted free agent. You end up coming to Denver in 2010, but my man said he don't know you, and he sent you an inbox message. He said he's right down the street from your facility, so he'll love to come through and talk football with you if you got a chance. So please reply. That's all. Yeah, that's all.
Oh my goodness.
That's all. Yeah, can people get on these podcasts and just start
I'm in podcast crazy? Beef. I've done my best for 3 years.
I went as a free agent. My circumstances and my situation was different. Me not playing as long as I should have had nothing to do with my playing ability. I could have kept chasing it. I seen he went overseas. I could have went overseas. I wasn't finna do all that. But I could have. But I would never get on here and downgrade anybody that went in the first round and talk about them saying they the worst player they've ever been around. I've smashed plenty of people that went in the first round when I was in Denver. I smashed them when they was on offensive line. And then when I had to play scout team as an offensive lineman, I smashed the defensive lineman. But I would never get on here and down them and talk down about them like how he did. That was disrespectful. And I'm sure you would have never said that if he was anywhere close to you. So just watch him out.
Yeah, guys, just reload the page if you're having sound issues. I think YouTube's fighting with us tonight. Somebody asked what he said. It was pretty egregious. He basically he was talking about Shiloh being, and look, what that part of the conversation was fine. He was talking about Shiloh being snuffed and kind of playing with a chip on his shoulder. All great stuff. And kind of comparing himself to playing with a chip on his shoulder. And he's like, being drafted in the first round doesn't mean anything. I played. He goes, the worst player I played against was drafted in the first round. And he said it was Jarvis Moss.
Yeah, he said the worst player he's ever played against and the worst player he's ever been on the team with ever. And then he had the audacity to come back and say, yeah, and I don't care about talking crap about first rounders. And if I've ever seen him again or had the opportunity, I'll put my elbow in his neck and all kind of vulgar language. This is the whole
Did he really?
description. Yeah, this is on my page.
I saw that. I saw that. The only thing I saw was him say he was. I didn't say he was
a whole nother one. Yeah, he said if you ever had the opportunity, he'll drive his elbow in his neck and all kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's okay. That's
big chump. Yeah.
Yeah, you can talk a little smack. I mean, but to say you're basically gonna that's just ridiculous. And now, can I say that you've reached out and there's been crickets?
Oh yeah, crickets. Moss reached out to him. I reached out to him. Moss messaged him. I tagged him. He followed me on Twitter, but he never responded to the message. He didn't say anything. I tagged him, his podcast, his co-host, everybody.
And look, I think
it's all good.
Rightfully so. If you're gonna say it, at least it's Sheldon's MacBook. It probably is my MacBook. Yeah, I mean, have the healthy conversation about it, and if you're gonna say it, stand by it. But listen. Y'all chumps. I put you in the dirt too, Harris.
I'm always defending my Gator guys for sure. That's been me off rip. And I wasn't even looking for that. I stumbled across that just looking at that football stuff one night. And I seen it talking about Shiloh, and I go to listening, and all I heard was Jarvis Moss, and I almost lost it.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. You said it to me, and it was some fighting words. So well, glad we could wrap the show on a positive note, Steven.
Sorry, my bad, Sheldon. I ain't mean to drag you in it, but he didn't want to answer me, and he was on a podcast talking about it, so I figured maybe he'll run across mine.
I feel like I'm the one that's gonna get beat up now. I'm the smallest.
You and
I'm the smallest one out of all of you.
He's probably scared.
Yeah, if we all go, I'm bringing both of you, okay? Because between the three of y'all, he's like 6'5", 300. You're 6'7". Jarvis is 6'4". I'm 5'10", guys. All right, I'm just the host. Listen, if y'all want
to be the referee.
Hey, we can do pay-per-view on High Top if y'all want to do it. I'm more than happy to commentate.
I'm for it.
I know my role here.
I'm for it.
All right.
Listen, if you want to sign the contract, I'm down.
I love it. Boys and girls, y'all be good. Stay safe out there. If you got internet beef, come on the show. We'll talk about it. We'll lash it out here. Y'all be good. Stay safe. Have a safe flight, Trav, Jarvis, Gravy Biscuit, Levi, Brendan, as always, hating on my boy, Rookie. Put me in, Steve. 145 pounds of anger. I love it. Let's get it. Gator fanatic, Gator boy, K Swiss. Good to see all y'all tonight. A lot more in the chat. John Wilcox. Appreciate y'all as always for tuning in, hanging out with the smash the like button and subscribing. Y'all be good, stay safe. We'll see you on Wednesday for the best day of the week, baby. Love you.
Love y'all.